Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Raising Our Gifted Children right here on self-discoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My wonderful guest today is JoAnn Gramlich, and we're going to be talking about her wonderful book, which is Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mummy, which is so essential that we do all of that with our children. She said, did you know that one of the most important ways to help your children is simply by talking with them frequently and starting as early as birth? The period of birth to age 5 is a crucial time from language development because at this age, the spoken word develops naturally as a result of various types of stimulation. Brain growth, self-confidence, vocabulary can be enhanced through talking, playing, and reading with your child every day. As parents and caregivers interact with the little ones, they can use various strategies and techniques at home or when they're on the go to help their child develop communicational skills. This all begins by having an understanding that our child under the age of 5 experiences the majority of their learning opportunities during regular daily routines and playtime. And when you take the time to adjust your day-to-day interactions and your everyday routines that you're already engaging in, you can increase the opportunities for speech and language development in your child and share special bonding moments together. So let's take advantage of those daily routines and allow your child to understand how to use their language and ready them for the school success. So JoAnn works with children's speech language pathologists and uses her optimistic nature to empower children to be confident in their own voice so they can be heard and recognized in the world. And it all begins by JoAnn teaching and helping children to tap into their imagination and skillful mind. She feels her philosophy of making learning fun and educational will bring out the best in children and help them explore their own creative abilities during their early years and beyond. It all starts right at the very beginning, doesn't it? Welcome, JoAnn.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Sarah.
A lot of people talk to their babies while they're still in the womb. And I think that's, a great way to start, playing music, talking to them, rubbing the belly while they're talking to them, because that voice is filtering through, isn't it?
Yes, I believe it's at 3 to 6 months when the child is in the womb that the voice can be heard. So yeah, they can hear your voice, your kind of your high pitched voice, your middle of the road voice. Yes, they can definitely hear it, and it's a good time to talk and keep them, to have conversations, right? Just like you
Yes.
would once they get on the planet. So.
And of course, comprehension is something they're going to learn as they go. But at that time, it's an intuitiveness, the tone of your voice. That it's not the understanding of the words, but there's almost an understanding of an intent behind it.
Right, making that connection, right?
Hmm.
That connection. Maybe we want to use some of the words of bonding, nurturing, loving, security, all those good words that you're eventually, when the baby is born, that's the beginning of the path. That's what you want to do to make them feel comfortable and safe in the world. So,
My daughter has two children. One will be 3 in March. The other one will be 1 in April. And the little one has Down syndrome. But she's had, her older son talk to the belly and kiss the belly and speak to his brother right from the word go. The bond between them was instant. I mean, there's the little one. When he was born, they broke his femur, pulling him out. The
oh,
C-section.
okay.
And so he was in an incubator, and there is dad showing his baby brother, and there's his little hand over his baby brother's little hand, immediately
Oh,
bondage, just absolutely beautiful. And I think a
mhm.
lot of that comes from engaging them in the pregnancy, engaging them and talk to your brother, what have you got to say today? Because there's a connection building up, isn't there?
Right. You want to prepare your son or daughter and let them know, a newborn is going to be around the house and you're going to be part of the growth with the child and all the experiences. And you're going to be that role model. If he's a little one, you can, help him move forward with all different aspects of playing, talking, reading. Yes, it's so important. I agree.
They get read to, they've been read to almost from the day they're born. And the other day, my daughter was noticing that she asked her son to read the book to her. Now, of course, he's not grasping the words or the letters, although he's getting to know letters, but obviously not in the sense of a word. But he could almost word for word say what that story was and kind of read it back to his mother because it's that engagement in the story, isn't it? It's memorizing it, but it's the engagement of it and how we read it to them, how often we read to them.
Right. I mean, reading, I have one of the activities in the infant section of my book called Playful Reading. And a lot of times the parents think that you have to wait till they're school ready.
Mhm.
But of course you do not. You can start reading, like you said, you can start reading when they're in the womb. They can hear you, right? So, but yeah, playful reading, I have it in the infant section. And it's basically having your baby on your lap and then putting that book there and letting them, take their little fingers and let them see that picture of that kitty cat or that bunny rabbit and use that colorful, rich language because they're hearing it and they're making associations from what they see. They
Yeah,
can't say it yet.
no.
Eventually they will. And of course, it also will foster love for reading, the gift of reading,
Mm.
starting at an early age, which is so important because, of course, we know that kids are learning these skills much earlier than I think when I grew up.
Yes,
It
yes.
was a
Yeah.
half a day of kindergarten. I just don't remember my mom. There were six of us at home. My mom was busy, with the daily routines, what have you, the routines of the day. I don't remember her sitting down reading with us because she was so busy otherwise. I mean, I'm a twin, but we weren't required to have the skills as we were
Mm,
going forward. I think we started reading in first grade. I don't think we were reading in kindergarten. But
right.
nowadays they're expecting to read and write by the end of kindergarten. So, which it's a good thing, right? To expose the
Yes,
kids to books. Why not? Right?
yes, yes.
Keep
No,
their mind rich and full, imagination.
yes. I mean, they are our gifted children. They're just one beautiful gift that we're ready to tap in and understand what that gift is and then nurture that gift into adulthood. And that's what it's about. And reading not only gives them imagination, but it's, the knowledge that they learn through reading. The
Oh,
knowledge a parent or a grandparent gets from reading the book, a reminder of simple things that we've forgotten in
I
reading the book.
know, I know. When I first had my book published, a lot of parents were commenting, "Oh my gosh, I forgot about that activity. I forgot about that activity." Because if you're not exposed to it,
Hmm.
like you said, you forgot. You just don't remember. So,
No.
but reading, there's just so much to learn, so much to learn, and so much to learn, so much to remember, so much to forget. But it's so exciting to learn new things. And the kids, you can see, when you're exposing them to new things, how excited they are, how the light bulb goes on, they want to learn more.
Hmm.
It's a progression. It is really a progression and learning how the world works, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
many different things outside our culture.
And
So,
it really, I mean, he's, as I said, he's not yet three. And of course, he's obsessed with Peppa Pig.
oh
And uh,
yeah.
and I came back from England with a Peppa Pig book of the Queen driving a bus and driving them around London. And I would speak kind of in an English voice and like the Queen. And he would say to me, "Be the Queen, Nana, be the Queen,"
I know, and I look at that vocabulary right there, right? The queen, right? What's a queen?
Yes.
So yeah, there's so much to learn.
And
So
that's the thing I said, it is a reminder for us adults because, we're so stuck in this groove over here that kind of going on the adventure with the child, seeing the reaction of the child, pausing and they make a comment about something and you pause there and, hear what that comment is. I think it's such not only a bonding experience, but I think it's a great reigniting of our own child within.
oh, I totally agree. So for example, today I was at school, we're doing Arctic animals, the North Pole, frosty landscape, etc. So for me to teach my concepts and to keep them engaged, I'm exposing them to the vocabulary. Let's say it's a penguin. I can't just sit at a desk for that half hour. We have to make sure that we get up, and we act like the penguin, act
Yes.
out right? It's fun,
Hmm.
and they're gonna understand what that penguin does. So I'm constantly acting out vocabulary words, doing the movements, body movements, arm movements, whatever it entails. And the kids just come to life. As opposed to if I just sit there for a half hour with them, it's dry, it's long, and you can tell they're not
Fidgety.
staying engaged. Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
not staying
No,
engaged.
no.
So the more we get up, the more we act out, the more we're going to learn. And you see the lights go on, and they're just so excited. They're in that wonder and awe state. So that's
Yeah.
exciting. So,
So much to learn through play.
oh
My
yeah.
son-in-law and my daughter are very, very immersed in the play. And of course, you know, dinosaurs, and then grandma will suddenly be the dinosaur. And they know it's grandma, but running out of the room because big dinosaurs coming to get them, and all sorts of things that they can turn into play that they love. And there's so many, games for children, or puzzles or games and things that are wonderfully educational and so fun to play, for the whole
Mhm.
family. And the learning that is going on, that you start seeing, as I said, like now he can read that, but particular books where he can read it back to you almost word for word. And then of course at not the age of 3 yet, he's not reading the actual words, right? He's identifying with the picture and the story that went
Right.
along with it. Yeah.
Right. And then he's able to almost create his own story based on the pictures. So he's writing the book based on what he knows with his own language skills.
Yes.
So and then like you said, that repetition is so important to keep repeating, reading the pages over and over, because then it's yours. And that imitation factor, because if kids don't understand, they don't understand something, they're not going to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that, right, they have to understand before they can speak. So right now, your grandson is just comprehending everything. He's
Yeah.
taking it all
Sponge.
in.
Yes.
Yeah. So his reading skills, he probably will be an ace with that because,
Hmm.
just like the word queen, I was thinking, besides the fact him recognizing what a queen is and maybe what her role is. He's also saying that word, and
Hmm.
that Q
Yes.
letter is a difficult sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's learning how to say it properly and then using it, expressing it, and then eventually he's going to be able to read it. I'm sure he's going to be a great reader. So
It's something
based on
interesting. There's a game that we play because he likes to go in grandma's car when we go somewhere. So I take him off to daycare, or if I'm sometimes going shopping, he comes with me. And it was when we count trucks, how many trucks are on the road, because he's car obsessed, right?
okay, yeah,
And traffic jam and this and that, you name it. I mean, cars are everywhere. You want to sit down, hard luck, there's a car there, and he's in the midst of a
Mhm.
game and entrenched into it. But we'll count the amount of trucks. And then one day it's we're driving home, and Nana. There's no car, no trucks. Where are all the trucks? And I go, yeah, where are all the trucks? Oh, it's Saturday. They don't work on Sunday. Ah, they're with family.
Look at that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I know, and you're mentioning that is it's so fun. People forget about how the simple conversations
yeah.
can take place just on the ride to school,
Yes,
right? There's
yes.
so much to learn.
I know.
And we're all in such a rush. That's the problem. Our world
Yeah,
is like go, 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 go. But if you slow down to the basics and take it simple, there are so many learning opportunities. Even if I were in a empty box, I could think of a zillion things to engage with a child just using, again, let's pretend it's winter, the snow's falling down. There might not be any snow, but we can talk about it,
yes.
describe it. But just that simple car ride, noticing, counting the trucks, maybe seeing the signs, looking at people, what they're doing, so much to talk about. And I have a few activities in my book that relate to that type of conversation piece and language.
Of course, when we grew up, it was I Spy with my little eye.
Oh, I have that in there too. Yes,
Right. And
yes,
and that was a great thing
yes,
because it made us look instead of like, I'm bored,
yes.
are we there yet? We're busy looking for something and who's going to see it first. And so,
Right.
and it made us engage because, time concepts with children, are not there. It's just taking a long time, even if it's only 10 minutes. So kind of engaging them on the ride with a game is always fun to do.
Exactly. Like you said, there's so much to do in a card. Even I see something, or I spy,
Hmm.
or what colors did you see along the way?
Hmm.
So many things to see outside. It's a colorful world. And
Yes.
shapes, right?
Yes.
Shapes,
Yes.
colors, all kinds of things. Vehicles, different kinds of
Hmm.
vehicles. So, but
Mm. I mean, I
yes.
admit that I probably didn't do an awful lot of reading with my children. I had 3 under 6, and so um, I didn't have a proactive, they didn't have a proactive father. He would play tiger with them, chasing them around as a tiger, but he wasn't a putting to bed or reading or that type of thing. And so I did when I could. But what I did is I told a story of the day about a hero, a bit of that, incorporating them in some activity they'd done in the day, and I'd make the story up with them in it because it was just easier
Oh,
for me to do.
oh yeah. And kids love when you create a story. Did you just say that you included them in the story?
Yes,
They
yes,
love that. When
yes,
they hear their name
yeah,
in a story as a character,
yeah,
it's me. Or even if I started a book in school and what have you, or even with my niece and nephews when I used to watch them all the time. If I had a book and I said, look, it's Stephanie on the front and Marky, and you guys are going for an adventure.
yeah,
And they tuned right in, and that was like, oh, I got them. We're going.
yeah.
So it's so
Identification,
fun.
it's their
Mhm.
story. So I did a lot of that, but I always had books around that if we didn't have the time, I mean, I really give it off to my daughter and son-in-law. These kids have, and the baby too. So like, there's the toddler having the book and the baby's in the other arm and just
Mhm.
as
Oh
engrossed,
yeah.
although he's 9 months old and he's just as engrossed in the story and just happy to be a part of the group, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right. I think a lot of times moms and dads sometimes think that just because it's an infant
yeah,
or a 6-month-old baby or even a 1-year-old, they're just not ready. But they are so ready.
yes,
They're ready, set, go. You can totally engage them in books and that. Any
right.
any activity is going to spark their attention. So if
And
they
I think
want,
it's
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's just that we are kind of in an adult are dictating what they should learn when. And instead of allowing our children to learn at their comprehension of where they're at that time. And I think if we can let go of this, oh, they've got to be doing this by this age, or you only start this at this age, and just do, they're going to get out of it what they get out of it,
Right.
age appropriate. So it's like, let's put away the got tos and the should do's and just the do do's and just do.
Right, right. Let the child lead, let him
Yes.
guide. He will lead the way. Get rid of, I think there's a lot of nowadays, a lot of people jumping to put labels on children
Yes. And
so quickly.
comparisons. Hmm.
I mean, if your child is not jumping, it doesn't mean he can't jump. It just
Right.
means he has to learn to jump. So automatically, oh, he needs physical therapy. He's not, no, not really. If he can't hold a crayon, he needs OT. No, he's just got to learn how to do it. I mean, if there's other underlying issues,
Yes.
of course. But at age 2 and 3, I think everybody's so quick to put these
Yeah.
labels on these kids and not let them get exposed to this skill and the skill base that will let them grow and figure it out. And, and,
Yeah.
and there's different circumstances and different timings, but overall you got to give the kid a chance. So it's just like when the kids start pre-K and kindergarten, you kind of got if they're, let's say they're an only child, that means they probably haven't really socialized a
Mm.
lot compared to maybe a child with, 2 or 3 other siblings. So you kind of have to let them get acclimated in that setting. And a lot of them come in shy and they're not talking yet. You can't assume
Yeah.
that there is a problem off the bat.
Yes.
You have to give them a chance to feel comfortable, especially if you might have those parents who really don't have an understanding of how to engage properly, or they're not that nurturing mom and dad. And let's face it, there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the key thing though, that for children to feel comfortable, just from my experience, that they really do need to be nurtured and loved and that security blanket. So then if they have that foundation, then when they go into school or out in the world, then they're going to have a little bit of a security net to feel that self-confidence, or I can do this, I can do
Yes.
that. Give it a chance. It doesn't mean
Yes.
they're going to be perfect in all avenues, but they're willing to try. But a lot of times, a lot of the kids come into school real shy, lack of affect, just like I would call it a poker face, where they
Mm.
just like, because nobody's talking to them or nobody
Mm.
played with them, right? It is sad. So that's where a lot of, my job, skill
Mm.
base comes in to get those kids going and let them feel good and know they can do it, because they can do it.
Yes.
They just have to be given the chance to, take the
I mean,
risk.
my son, when he first started preschool, because he used to go to daycare things, not I was part of always a parents group, twice a week going where they play with other kids. But when it came to actually preschool, he would cry for like 10 minutes. I'd stand out the door and he was screaming his head off, and then all of a sudden stop. And if we went to a birthday party, it would be clinging to me until he felt comfortable. And when, now he is a community leader, restaurant owner, and, gregarious person. So it is like, let them get to a point where they can observe, where they feel comfortable to come in. Don't push them, don't force them. They're assessing the situation and how they feel comfortable and how they belong into it. And we don't want a mummy cuddle where we go, okay, that's okay, we'll go home straight away. No, let
Right. No.
let them get into it's okay, I'm here, don't worry,
Mhm.
take your time. Look
They
what
can
that
feel
person's doing.
secure.
Look what that person's doing. And then let them gradually kind of get into it because, you know,
Ease in.
ease in. And we're impatient. And it is, oh, why aren't they playing? We come to this group for them to play. Do we go somewhere and immediately we're going to play with everybody there? We're going to
Oh,
suss out people we vibe with, right?
right, exactly. I think people assume, like, I take on this idea that, kids are their emotions, they have the same emotions we have.
Mhm.
They have the same drive, they have the same fears. So you just kind of realize they're just big little kids,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I have a situation right now at school, which is an unfortunate situation, but it'll come around. So there's this little boy who mom and the family took him out of school and took him to India for 6 weeks.
Mhm.
And at the same time, they came back and he had to move into a new school and move into a new home. So
Mm.
now he's not talking.
Right.
So he is talking with me, which he used to have the back and forth, the exchange, but now I have to provide the
Coach it out of
models.
him.
Yeah, sentence starters, cues, and what have you. But he will talk, and it's in a real gruff, like, the polar bear is, and that's not how he speaks, but he's
Mhm.
just he has some fear now.
Yeah.
He's out of his comfort zone. But everybody, mom is, I guess, is not speaking at home at all. So she has the patience of a bumblebee. She keeps texting me, asking me, "Do we need more services? Should we increase the speed?" I said, "I think we just have to go at his pace, and he will, slowly get out of his shell. I think you have to find some real playful activities at home to make him feel comfortable again. Because when he was in India, they weren't speaking English." So when
Mm.
he does not speak his second language, he is definitely just speaking English. So
Right. So he felt
everything's kind of got
isolated.
mixed, yes, and mixed
Yes.
up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so she has to remember, I'll be honest, if I went over to India for 6 weeks and came home to a new home and a new school, I think I'd be in the same boat as he was.
Yeah.
I'd like, what is happening right now, right? It's scary.
Yes.
So he
Because
will come,
everybody wants familiarity because it makes us feel safe,
right,
right? And if his
exactly,
world
that's
has been
security,
uprooted, like you had fun, you had connections, this was obviously something that was important to you, but for him, it's the twilight zone, right? And
right?
he's not even coming back to familiarity of his own home or anything that he can feel, okay, I'm home. I'm back into my groove. It's a new home. It's a new school. It's a new life. And it's like, what happened? What happened
Like
to my
it's kind
world?
of kind of like emotional trauma, right?
Yeah.
It's too much at once.
Yes.
So I saw him today. I just tried to be very playful and have fun with him, and we're engaging in our Arctic activities. And he's coming around, but he's just slowly speaking to whoever he feels comfortable. But
Yes.
before this happened, he was progressing. There was a lot of, back and forth conversation and those volleys and exchanges. But right now it's just,
Yeah.
it's me and him and maybe a few words in the classroom. But I did see him laughing with his peers today. So
So it's
so that's a
slowly
good
coming back.
sign.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. But
Yeah, and we've got to
yeah,
give
so
them time. There's, well, your
exactly.
brother did this or
Patience.
your sister did that. Well, that's them. That's their unique voice
No, you
or their
can't
unique. We
compare.
do not compare because don't compare anything. Apples and oranges, they're both fruits. They're both totally different fruits, right? So it's
Mhm.
this competitiveness and comparison
Oh,
is so
it's the worst.
deadly. It's so soul destroying because if you're comparing, that means you're saying there's something wrong with you, right? And if you're
Mhm.
competing, it's like I'm competing to be better, but aren't I okay as I am? And it's sending
Right.
the wrong message out altogether. And then you've got adults, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, having to go back to their inner child saying, you're enough. You don't need to compete or compare. We want to avoid that, please. We want the child to grow up with confidence in who they
Right.
are, why they are, what they want to do, and not a dictation of somebody else saying, well, you've got to be this or you're not worth it.
Right. And that language that we use, it
Mm,
really impacts the psyche of
mm,
children and adults. You hear, I have brothers and sisters, I hear people the way they talk, they're just like, oh my, I'm not married. All my family's married with kids, well, grown kids. But anyway, sometimes I hear my twin sister and my brother-in-law, the way they talk to each other, I'm like, my God, I would have a broken heart because they're used to it.
yes.
This is their way of communicating, which wouldn't work for me, but
Mhm.
some of it's painful. So
Yeah.
you have to be careful how, like you said, comparing somebody saying, well, why don't you act like your sister? Why don't you act like your brother? Because I'm not them.
Yeah.
I'm me, right?
Yes.
A
Exactly.
unique person. So,
But there
but
was that great ad. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it was, like kids pretending they're drinking and smoking and kind of lying around and then kind of showing the party from the night before, where the kids are completely mimicked what they've seen. They are sponges. One of the ways of
oh
learning
yeah,
is by example. And if you're setting a bad example and then you're blaming them for it, no, no, no.
right,
Look
yeah,
inwardly. What are you doing that this child is mimicking? It's actually is the same for a pet. The behavior of an animal, if they're playing up, is because they're mimicking something going on inside of you. So we cannot blame them for their behavior. We have to look at ours and
oh, I
check
know.
ourselves.
I totally agree. I've seen it all working in the inner city, one of the lowest performing schools with some of the kids. Everybody has a different household, different dynamics, what have you. But you can almost immediately tell who is kind of suffering. There's
Yeah,
some of these kids are suffering because of their environment, and they're just not able to be themselves. But if they get a fun, creative teacher,
yeah,
I can always tell when sometimes in the school district, the school age population, it's some of the kids who just want to be so cool. They don't want to be around the teachers. But as soon as I get, say, 5 kids in a room, and let's say they're fourth through sixth grade, I always can tell if I've reeled them in when they
yeah.
say, "Oh, when can we come back to speech?" And they're kind of like they come across when they first come, they're all tough, big and bad. But
Hmm.
then I kind of nurture them and get to their inner child, and they're having fun and they want to learn, and we do it in creative ways.
Yes.
And then at the end they'll say, "Well, when do we have speech again?" I said, "All right, let me check it out." So that I know, oh, good, yeah, it's scored. They're ready to come back.
Yes.
So, but yes, it's so important. It's the most important thing is just developing that relationship with your child right off the bat, the bonding, the nurturing, the loving, being sensitive to them. And I realize you have to have structure and boundaries,
Yes.
but otherwise they'll eat you alive.
Oh
Right?
God, yes. Yes, they
Yes,
will.
and I'm
They
not
love
saying,
testing their limits. Yeah, oh
oh
yeah.
yes, yes. So that's just a natural instinct starting probably like 1.5, 2, right? They're
Hmm.
just that's
Push,
their
push,
ground.
push. Hmm. And they
Yes.
look at you sideways. How far can I push? How far can I push?
Oh, and some parents let them push, but some
Yeah.
parents, if you're putting those boundaries in and having those daily routines during structure, what have you, during your day, you're going to have a child who understands how to move forward as opposed to giving in and letting them do whatever they want and run around. I call them alpha kids, the ones
Mm.
that run the show.
Yeah.
Not their fault. It's the parents. It's the parents. They got to be tough on crime, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly. Exactly. What I used to do when I was a nanny and also when I had my own kids, this sending them to their room I didn't like because that's their sanctuary. That's where they sleep. That's where they should feel safe, not as a punishment. Also, you could
mm.
send them to their room and then I'm happy to be here. That's fine. Right. So
Oh,
what I,
right.
it can be either way. But what I used to do is put them in the corner facing us. You're going to sit there, watch us having fun.
Oh, I like that idea.
And then you can't come back in and join us until your attitude has changed, right? And
I
so
like that.
they're seeing everybody else, so they're not including them. No, but your
Right.
behavior has to change for you to be included. Are you ready to change that behavior? But instead of facing the wall and being resentful and angry and pissed off, they're watching everybody having fun that they could be a part of if they realize that they have to come with a different attitude. And I found
Right.
that worked because ultimately they want to be a part of it,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah, they don't want to miss out.
Uh-uh.
And do you remember the show The Nanny? Do you
Yes,
remember
yes,
that?
Fran Dresser.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Um, Oh wait, am I thinking of the right one? The nanny, the one that would go into the homes and there were kids that were just really bad behaviors, what have you. I think it was called The Nanny.
Oh, right. Yes, the British
She
one.
was,
Yeah,
yes,
yes,
yes.
yes,
I
yes.
always thought to myself, you know what? If you have any issues, just watch that show. She's
Yeah,
just firm and consistent. She means what she says, and she doesn't let the kids push her around. Where a lot sometimes parents do. Sometimes parents are too friendly, right?
yeah.
They just want to be their kid's friend, but when trials come, they don't know how to go forward because it's their friend and they don't want to punish their friend.
Right.
So, but
Well, I mean,
anyway, so
Mary Poppins, it's, kids that were unruly because the parents were dysfunctional. And, the problem is, I've interviewed quite a few people, and plus when I had a dog, I had a training, and they said it's all very well doing the training, but unless everybody else is doing it consistently, right?
right,
They're going to find a loophole in that
right,
behavior. And when you've got parents that are struggling financially or emotionally or having a hard time in the marriage, all of that type of thing, the kids are sponges. If the parents are arguing, they think it's their fault. Or they don't understand. What do you mean there isn't any money for this and that? They don't understand that concept, right? Macaroni cheese tonight and again because that's all that they can afford. Why is mum stressed out? Why is dad angry? And it's like we've got to be aware of that. And I put my kids through that because I ended up with a very tumultuous marriage that it actually ended up my teen son being the mediator,
oh wow,
which eventually kind of gave up because my ex unfortunately has narcissistic behavior and it wasn't his fault, it's everybody else's around him. So
mhm,
it's you're no winning there at all. So
right, right,
eventually my kids told me to divorce and it was time to move on and realize that where I was thinking I'm being a dutiful mom, wait for the kids to grow up and then I can move on, and it was then.
mhm,
So honor our children and what they're seeing, honor them when they come forth and say, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or I feel uncomfortable with this, and what's happening. Talk to them at
right,
the level of their age, but don't dismiss them because they're children. They're growing
right.
up in that household,
They see
right?
everything and they
They see
understand
everything.
more than you know. And
Yes,
then the emotional aspect of it, it wears on them too, right? Of
absolutely.
course.
I can't tell you how
So,
many shows that I have done where it's the inner child wounded from upbringing that they've
right,
had to go back and repair and tell that child that it's loved and it's wanted. And the parents were dysfunctional. I had that as well, except my dad died. But we repeat what we know, and when we
right,
recognize the pattern, it's up to us to change that pattern for better. All right. So very often, if we see our kids doing something, we should be saying, "What am I doing that's igniting that? What do I need to address because my kid is showing this behavior or feeling insecure or doing something to hurt themselves? This
right.
is something that's a reflection of what's going on in the home, and we need to pay attention to that.
I totally agree. I think I think I feel like nowadays, well, maybe from my brothers and sisters having kids and that, I feel like nowadays a lot of the parents give to their kids,
Mm,
where that's a whole nother ballgame, right? Because they're
yes.
not going to be independent.
Mm.
But I grew up in a family, like you mentioned, where it was kind of it was busy. It was a busy household. And
With
like you
six
said,
kids, it will be.
yes. And mom and dad sometimes sparring
Mm,
and what have you. And like you said, you sometimes you do internalize it, right? As a
yes.
child, you don't know what to do with it, so you
No.
do internalize it. But I think I feel like we should have parenting courses in high school,
Yes.
more hands-on practical courses that are going to benefit us for our everyday living, right?
Yeah.
Starting with children, parenting and children. But we do, at least I'm not aware of that they're doing that.
Well,
Um,
they've got the egg thing. You've got to look after the egg and don't drop it, or
all
there is
that,
kind of the
yes.
baby type thing, and that's all very well. They kind of just, brush that off. But I think it's what we need to do. And actually, it's in one of our Forgotten Children book series, which is coming out February 20th. One of the people contributors there is talking finances with your children.
I was just thinking of that as you said
Yeah,
that. Yes,
because
that. all those different issues, right, that
We
affect
don't talk
children.
money with them. We don't talk household chores with them. We don't talk responsibility with them. We don't talk about honoring and respect and dignity with them. They think that they get that on church on Sunday, but then they've got the bad influence with their peers at school, right? So it's if we
Right,
don't teach these things right from the word go, and make it a part of their life where they feel free to ask questions as they're
right,
learning and absorbing. And if for it's okay for us even to say, I don't know. Let's find out together,
right.
right?
I know, as far as the money topic, I think I know, we have this financial guru here. You maybe have heard of him, Dave Ramsey. Have you heard of him
I've
by
heard of,
chance?
yes.
So he talks about teaching your children about money in first grade and
Mm,
having a topic at dinner time, what have you. Why not? Because what happens is I just sense is when people talk about money, it's more of a competition instead
yes,
of a tool. We all need the
yes,
money. So why
yes,
don't we all share our information of how to invest a little better,
yeah.
right? How are you making more money on your money? Teaching kids what the money's for, about saving it, spending it, giving it away. All that is so important, right? But unfortunately, we have this mindset. It's me, me, me. It's that more. It's that
Yeah.
consumption, right? I want more, and I think people feel more superior when they have more money.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess.
No, no, believe me, believe me. Yeah, no, I call it opulent thinking. I
Yeah,
have more
it's
money, so therefore I'm more important. And,
is that
money is the
fallacy.
definition of me. No, I talk about enrichment and personal abundance. That is a heart, soul, and spirit thing. When your heart, soul, and spirit is rich and abundant, you are absolutely abundant. And money is just that tool in order to maintain that. But when people look at money on status, how many likes, social media, and I look at how many
Oh,
children are exposed to that now,
mhm.
that, oh, I need to have this many likes. My friend's got more likes than me. So, again, comparison and competition and popularity thing is we need to teach children to be secure in who they are, not
Right,
what
right.
society is dictating they should be, because that's driven by consumerism. That's driven by the industry that wants you to buy, and you will feel better if you buy. Right. And you will feel more important if you make this money. You'll feel more important if you have that title. And no, importance is not that. That's the
Because when you
shallow feeling thinking.
Because when you get there, you realize, well, this is it. All right, I have to pursue something else, right? You kind of constantly are
It's never
pursuing.
enough. You're
Right,
always
right,
empty. You're always empty.
right.
It will never fill you. And you
So
and you
it's
yeah, it's teaching our children the wrong message altogether.
more about giving and serving
Yes.
humanitarian causes,
Yes.
right? We're here to help. That's because the crazy world we're in,
Mm.
right? We need to help and serve. So there's so many needs, so many causes, so many issues. So
I don't know about you, but I've certainly come across them. And I've even interviewed them. The youngest person I interviewed was 10, and she'd written a book on 365 days of gratitude with a positive attitude. And it was
I
just
love
every day what
it.
to be grateful for. And it was like so simple, but we forget, adults, we forget this word gratitude. It's always like, I don't have enough. Yes, you do. Just be grateful for what you have and the opportunity to seek out more, right? Again, if we're in that attitude, our children will pick that attitude up. But it's the amount of children that we see on these programs today, like America's Got Talent, or all of these 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds coming in, magicians or singing or doing something. The confidence that they have, the gift that they have.
No, that's a whole nother topic. Gifts.
Yes,
Tap into your
yes,
child's gifts. They're
yes,
in there. Everybody
yes.
has something to share with the world. I know it,
Yep.
right? You just know everybody. I'm a twin. She has her gifts. I have my gifts. I always told my mom and dad, wow, wouldn't it have been cool if that would have been just one person? Because she has, a
Yeah.
stronger math aptitude. I feel like I have more like the piano, the musical background in that.
The
But
creative side.
yeah, yes, but everybody has something in it. It's up to the parents to help the child
Yes.
tap into that. And I think it would be fun. And I don't have kids, but I think it would be fun to navigate that path, right? How
To
exciting to
discover
figure
it.
things out.
Right.
Yes, but
To discover
together.
what that gift is, and to nurture it in that child's discovery. And
Oh
a
my
child,
gosh.
that I want to be an astronaut today, I want to be a fireman tomorrow. It's okay, they can be whatever they feel they want to be, but through
Right.
this exploration, which we've
how much
lost.
they learn and the
How much
knowledge
they
they
learn.
gain, and
Yeah.
the weaving in and out of,
Yes.
okay, this works, this doesn't work,
Mm,
but how exciting. I'm getting goosebumps as we speak of it
yeah.
because it is exciting. And that, I think, a lot of parents don't have a handle on that. They
No.
don't,
They're
because
too
each
busy
child is a
dictating
gift.
yeah, and then let's allow them. One of the things that I used to see a great deal is that my kids were each in a program at a time. Right. So with three kids, sometimes it could be a bit difficult because I'm driving here, there, and everywhere. And
Oh,
if
yes.
I couldn't do it, because I didn't rely on my husband, if I couldn't do it, then they couldn't do it. But just one program. And then they would come to the others' programs to support them if they weren't doing their program at that time. And it was really good for them to do it because they like the sports or they like this, the dancing and all that. They need all that exterior stuff. But at the same time, I met people, yes, Monday we have this, Tuesday we have that, Wednesday we have this, Thursday we have that, Friday that, Saturday they've got to do the, when do they play? When
Yeah,
do they
that's too
have time to be
much.
themselves? When,
Right.
my kids they had a complete wonderful dress up box and they'll put on plays all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They dress up
Yep.
and have fun. And they
Pretend play. Mm-hmm.
and just you just come in and do this whole performance for us and have huge laughs at what they were doing, and they weren't afraid of exploring,
Right, right.
and it was fun. And when they used to fight, the two older ones, when they used to fight, I would make them hug and kiss each other, and they were boy and girl, ew, 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 but they would hug and kiss each other, forget what they're
Right.
fighting about.
Right, right.
Or
Soften it up.
I would sing opera, and they would do anything to shut me up, so they'll forget about arguing.
Good for you. Yay. I
Or
love that.
put on "We Are the Champions" and everybody sing at the top of their voice. Divert them and get them
Mhm.
into being, it's okay to be silly buggers. It's
Right,
okay.
right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Being silly, dancing, just whatever it takes
Yeah.
to let them, get those creative juices
Yes.
flowing. So,
But
so
pay attention to what that gift is, because we don't
I
know always
know
what
it's
it
so
is.
important.
Yeah.
It really is so important. Like I said, I wasn't planning on going to college right away, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just did what everybody else did, went and got a job downtown.
Hmm.
My brothers and sisters were having children at that time. And I could feel the vibe that, wow, this is really easy for me to have these relationships, these fun and engaging relationships. So that allowed that door to open for me, but it was good that I was able to realize it because
Yes.
sometimes people also let it pass by and think nothing of it.
Yeah.
But I was happy that like that passion came to me and the light bulb went off because I knew when I was working downtown, I kept job hopping. I thought something's not right here.
Hmm.
This
Hmm.
is not for me. And so the children avenue came my way and opened the doors for so many different opportunities. And I'm very happy that I was able to create that foundation for me.
You
So, but
allowed. You
are
allowed
I allowed?
yourself to
Yes.
take the journey. And again, goes back to,
Yes.
especially Asian parents dictate, you've got to go and get a degree, you've got to go and do this, you've got to be that. And it's not what they want, right?
Right. You hear so many stories. Yes.
I have relative, my ex is Chinese, so I have nieces and nephews on that side that were pushed that way, and they didn't want to do it, but it was
Very
expected of
disciplined.
them.
Hmm.
And if you don't do it, you're letting the family down and the honor. And it's
It's
like,
so
please stop
I'm
imposing your BS on your child. Allow your child to be
right.
who they want to be and discover who
Right.
they are. Yeah.
Right. That's and I, like you said, it's the opportunities they are there when the kids are younger, but there's still that door is there when they're teenagers.
Yes.
Even if it passes by and they're going to college, you can still help them navigate if
Yeah.
that's the path they want to take. But as a young child, it's just exciting to see kids being exposed to creative activities that let them figure out who and what they want to be. And there certainly are so many smart kids out there.
Oh gosh, yes.
Amazing, right? The
Yes. No, I mean
talent,
it's extraordinary.
amazing.
And because I think they have more, tools and things to be exposed to, but the fundamental, the reading, right? And preferably do not read from a tablet, a book, tangible touch pictures. They
Mhm.
love turning the pages, right? Telling them stories where you can make them a part of it, allowing them to play their way. Don't say, oh no, you're doing it wrong. You've got to do this. Right? If you are playing a game with them and they want to do it a different way, why do you want to do it that way? Does that work? Well, how about we try it this way? So don't undermine them, kind of lead them in, like, let's try it this way so they can follow direction without feeling less than. But
Right.
play, 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 because through play, they discover their abilities. They discover a passion. They discover something inside of them that lights up and go, I really like doing this. And then as a parent, you can say, they've really got an aptitude for this. What can I show them as an external program that they could go into, that they could hone that and discover if this is a path that they want to take? But it's got to start with play.
I know play is the work of a child, right? It's
Mm-hmm,
serious
mm-hmm,
learning. That's
mm-hmm.
so it's the truth, but I don't know how we teach parents that that's the avenue. I mean, you could, of course, you can guide them and you can be advocates for
Yes.
them, but they really run their own household. So it's up to them to kind of recognize this. I don't know how to spread the word, but we do the best we can.
We have to change the way. I mean, again, that's the whole reason for this book and this book series, is that we do have to change the way we educate. I mean, you know, it's stated by, oh gosh, I can't remember his name. It's a Chinese gentleman, and he's very heavy into technology, and he was saying we've got to educate our children differently, because there's technology will take over certain jobs and make them obsolete, and we have to train our kids to be more creative, more investigative, and kind of
Native.
a no box and no structure, because the education that we're teaching them was fine for the last 200 years, but is not going to serve them in the years to come.
Exactly. There was a radio show on today on talking about how we have to reevaluate our
Yes,
education system,
yes,
reset. It's antiquated, it's old. And it's true
absolutely.
because I was immersed in the public schools. And I'll tell you, when I would walk down the hall and it was quiet in the seventh, eighth grade wing, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, these kids are dying sitting there like this as the
I know.
teacher's just writing on
Yeah.
the chalkboard, dry, dry, dry.
Yeah. They're
So
all falling
boring.
asleep.
I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, bring some life to this. You're not
Yes.
reaching your kids, and you wonder why they're going into high school and they can't read because you're not getting them
No,
engaged with
no.
fun and it's play. Life should be playful. I mean, of course, there's a time and place for everything, but it is about
Yes.
feeling that to live, right?
Engagement.
So right,
We have kids that don't know how to
excitements
engage with each other because, sitting behind their desk doing that, and
or the
they,
screens,
yes,
right?
that's great. And
Flat
this
learning.
is an absolute fact. Please listen to this, any parent that's listening. You put a cell phone or a tablet in front of your child at a very young age for any length of time, a few minutes or something like that to watch something, but just handing it them as a way of babysitting, you are changing the neurons in the brain. Right? And you're changing
Right.
the way that child learns, and you are dumbing that child down completely, that they will have an extreme problem in learning from this,
They're not
because it's changing.
stimulating the brain cells to
No,
grow the mass in the
no,
brain. Yeah, no.
no.
Mm-mm.
And that's
So that's,
scientifically proven, folks. So please, it's great till 5 minutes, maybe while you're
oh
doing
yeah,
something.
there's a lot
But
of fun apps.
yeah,
I
I mean,
agree.
there was a video of a baby with a phone. They took the baby away, and the baby had a conniption, an absolute conniption. Gave the phone back and then back at it, and that is seriously dangerous.
They're also
Yeah.
finding attention deficits with these
Yes.
with the kids that are video
Yes.
gaming and all. I don't do all that stuff, but however, all kinds of scientific facts that are affecting the kids' brain growth and the way they're being stimulated. So, which is
Moderation, right?
oh yeah,
In
oh
my day,
yeah.
of course, it was the TV or the VHS put on a movie, right? And then the movie
Mhm.
was finished and off you go. But nowadays it's kind of so easy for them with tablet, phone, and this and that,
And
you
then
know.
also speaking of when we were younger, we were playing outside. You
Yeah,
rang the doorbell, knock, 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 and so come outside and
yes.
play. You were outside for hours. You came home for lunch, and then you went back out again to
Yes.
play with your friends.
And
You
we're
you
too
drive
scared to
around.
let our kids play outside now, because there's so
Well,
much violence and
I
abduction
know,
and everything else. I
I
mean,
know.
I'm probably one of the few lost generations where, I was a 5 or 6 year old, take my doll's pram out for a walk everywhere, and never ever a concern that anything was going to happen to me. Right. And nowadays is that if we don't see, I mean, I
That is
literally have
true.
had my daughter nearly abducted from the garden.
Oh,
And also I was sick, and another parent was picking her up from preschool, and this woman came up and grabbed her hand, and she was Chinese, and started walking with her, and the parents say, maybe it's an aunt. Excuse me, who are you? Who are you? And they literally had to chase after her.
Mm.
and
It
she
is,
dropped the
you're
ball.
right,
So,
you're
so
right. I always,
unfortunately, it's there today, which is, what does that say about our society that we've become so sick like this?
I know, you're right. It was was it a safer time when we grew up? Was it safer, or was it just that we didn't have, you see this on TV more so. We see
Yeah,
so much
and
more
also the
violence and what have you.
deep dark web. You've got this internet. We're doing this show by this. Internet has just bridged the gap where we can talk to people around the world and we can do things that are absolutely incredible for this apparatus, and it's not going anywhere, right? But unfortunately, when you have sick people, and it is a
Right.
sickness where of child porn or child this or child that, they are sick within themselves. And the extraordinary thing is, because again, I've done shows on abduction and sex trafficking. There'll be judges, there'll be doctors, there'll be police chiefs. And they're the people that are doing it, but they're hiding behind this facade. And
Uh,
unfortunately, today, the internet has opened them up to be able to do it in a way
right. I
that's
was thinking
easier.
social media. Right.
Yes,
Yes. I
yes.
know. You're right. There's
Yeah.
so many positives and negatives to our living right now, right? Of
So we've
course.
got to
So.
be more inventive of play dates, right?
Hmm.
Can
Hmm.
so-so come over and play? And then, next week they'll come over to you or whatever the case is. And then, yes, you monitor. You let the
Right.
kids,
Right.
so
You have to
instead of
be
knocking
there.
on the door, you've got to be a little more mindful about it. Set up those play dates. Let the kids have fun. Just set up a snack, put out the toys, let them be.
Right.
Monitor that they're
Hmm.
not hitting each other over the head,
Right.
but let them play, right? Let
Right.
them have fun.
Exactly. Exactly. Now that I said it out loud, I said, wait a minute, ringing doorbells doesn't sound so
I
good.
know
But that's how we
nowadays.
did it. That's what we did. Knock, knock, ring,
Yes,
ring. Now
yes.
somebody rang my bell, like, who could that be?
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
know.
who
We've
that
got a
is. I'm
camera on to
not,
see who it
I'm
is.
not
I know.
expecting anybody.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
but yeah, it's just a
And
different
and and,
time.
and it's unfortunate that society has gone that way. And a lot of it, I think, quite honestly, the amount of sickness that we see in that realm does come back from children that have either, adults that have an inner child that's been abused, being neglected. There's a sickness that lies within them that's never been addressed. And
Right.
and I really do believe that investing in our children while they're young will produce creative, solutional,
Healthy.
and morally dignity of an adult. But I think the dysfunction we see in adulthood today is because we've gone so far wrong with raising our children in the last 30 years.
I agree.
We've got to change. We've got to change.
Oh, we definitely need to change. Definitely need to change. Even adults need to lighten up, right? Don't be
Yes,
so offended and
yes,
react if somebody says something. Laugh it off or say, "Gee, that is a good idea," and who cares if it's not? Right?
right,
Just
exactly.
right. They get so
Knickers in the
sensitive.
twist, as I call it, and it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, lighten up. It's because you are an example for your child. You
Be
know,
playful.
be playful, be goofy.
You only
I
get
mean,
one chance. This is it. This
yeah,
is it, people. I mean, I feel like we used to say that people have chips on their shoulders. Now they
yes,
have boulders on their shoulders, right? Like, oh my
yes,
God, what happened to you? Why is your heart so hard?
yes,
Soften up like a baby when they're born, right? We
yeah,
come out so soft.
yes.
And all of a sudden, as we get older, a lot of people get so hard. It's never really that bad. Life is, I mean, I'm not,
It's how we've perceived
how
it
do
to
you
be.
cope? How do you
Yes,
cope?
but
Right.
it's also this I call it societal expectation. And social media and the internet use, I mean, any instrument. A car can be a killer or it could be a transporter. Everything can have negatives
Right.
to it,
Right.
right?
This and that. Yeah.
And social media is an algorithm. You use it properly and you put out good content and positive and no harm, you're going to get that back. But you've
Right.
got the trolls and you've got the slime bugs that are coming in,
Always,
the
always.
scammers or the people that are searching for children, etc. And the things we do have to be mindful what we put out, but also what we're willing to receive. And I think this societal expectation, again, back of how many likes, how popular are you, how rich are you, what neighborhood do you live in, what car do you drive,
Uh,
what you're wearing. If you're caught up in that facade of keeping up with the Joneses, as we used to call it,
right, right.
you're living an empty life that's never going to fill you. But when you look at a child's sheer joy of the simple things, a wooden spoon on a pan,
A
right,
drum, right?
making
Yeah,
noise,
that's it.
right, and just the
And
simple
the
joy they get
smile.
out of it, yeah,
Mhm.
and get caught up in that joy, you will actually realize where the true abundance and the true wealth of life is, right? It's
The
in the heart and
material
the soul.
things, right? It's all within,
Yeah,
and you
it's all
have to
within.
get it out because we are whatever comes. You can tell when you have a conversation with somebody as soon as they start speaking what they put when they what they talk about, right?
Yes,
You can
what's
kind of
important to them.
gauge what's
Mm.
what their I don't know, I'm trying to say their emotional state is,
Yes,
right? So I think we just all need to be happy.
yes,
It's never that bad, and there's always a way to get help if you can't figure out which direction to take. Make you feel better. Tune into God, whatever it
mm.
takes. Right? It's
The thing is, it's, I call it the sunny side of the street. I know that over there, there's darkness, there's sewage, there's all of that. I'm totally aware of it. And but I'm walking on the sunny side of the street,
me too.
right? And it's like
Yes. Oh yeah.
if you feed that sunny side of the street, the people that are wanting to cross over from that sewage and they meet halfway, you can grab their hand and pull them the rest of the way. But they've got to come out into the light. You can't go in there because if you go in there, you're swallowed up, right?
Right.
So,
I feel like a lot of people are also living in the past.
mm, oh,
Let go. I don't want to
yes,
hear about the 80s. And I want, if it is let's see, an event from the 80s or 90s, let it be something fun, but not the
yes,
drama of the 80s. I can't even remember all that stuff.
yes.
I don't
This person
remember.
said this to me
I
when
know.
20 years ago, you know.
What? Do
Yeah.
you know it's 2024 now?
Yeah, exactly.
Let
But
it go.
But that's also teaching our children. They get upset. And like, what they do with my grandson is like, breathe, 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 row, row, breathe, take deep breaths, breathe. Now tell me what the problem is. Right. And then let them
Hmm.
calm down, showing them how to calm down. We don't show kids how to calm down. We've got an entire chapter in the book on meditation and yoga for kids, of teaching them how to be present with self, how to tune in,
Self-regulate. Hmm.
just download and become centered, because we don't teach our children that. And that it's okay to go into your safe place to assess and then to respond. But, like hitting or this or that, no, it's not allowed. Why are you hitting? Use your words instead, or walk away from the situation. We don't teach our children that. We punish them if they've hit somebody, but did we ask them why they hit someone?
Right. You're right. The communication
Yeah,
is important, that back and forth. So they have an understanding of how to handle the next situation that comes up like that.
yeah.
So,
So, and
and I
teach
feel
them to
like,
take a breath,
and I feel like kids are a little more resilient though. They seem to, depending how many emotional situations happen to them, I feel like they're resilient and they can get across that bump a little quicker.
Yeah.
So, which is good.
I mean, I know your book is, it's talk, play, and read with me, mummy, but that also goes to daddies as well, right? So it doesn't matter who the person is, but there is something about mummies, being in mummy's arm, isn't there? That kind of extra nurturing type of thing.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Because mom always seems to be the maternal instinct,
Yeah.
the maternal one, right? She has that instinct of what the child needs. But did you know I have a Talk Clean Read Me Daddy book? Did you know
Oh,
that?
good. Oh, no, I didn't
Yeah,
know
I
that.
definitely have them right here. So
Okay,
I
yeah, we better have
have
that on the thing too.
so I have both. The dad, it seems when I did the research for the dad book and how this came around was when I was going out in the community, and I still go out, but however, they would ask, well, where's my copy of the book? The dad would say that.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, you are absolutely right. Where is your copy of the book? So
Mm,
I got on that from
yeah.
that feedback. But and then of course, whatever the dynamic happens to be with the dad, the mom, a single dad, it's useful for anybody. But dads provide that security blanket too, in a different
Yes.
fashion, right?
Yes.
That emotional aspect. Not that mom doesn't, but there's something a little bit different with a dad.
Hmm.
The bonding is a little bit different, more kind of more of a, I'd say if it's a male or a boy, the athletic, sportsy
Mm.
kind of thing, playing outside, getting a little bit aggressive, what have you, versus cooking in the kitchen with mom, right? So, but yeah, dad plays a very important role. That self-confidence piece. So
And that, and we have an awful lot, and kudos to them, a lot of fathers that say, okay, my wife has the great career. I'm going to stay at home and look after the children.
Oh, I know.
Bravo, bravo. I can pick my career up, or I can work part-time somewhere, but I realize that parenting is a job.
Oh,
And it's a
yes.
very serious job. And I remember one time actually giving my husband an invoice. Um, mother, chauffeur, head cook, nurse, bottle washer, a transporter, chauffeur, and I named all the things that a woman is, a mother is. And I gave him the prices of what it would cost to have somebody
Mm,
in at that. And then it was like a little mind blowing because we do take for granted our stay-at-home parents. And yeah, you're saving money. Yes, you are, but what you've got to fortify them as well, because it
right, right.
it's it can be tiring. Kids, if they're awake, they're on full go. They're full go,
Oh,
full
all
speed,
day.
all day,
All day.
right? All day.
Yes, all
And then,
day.
of course, if you have babies at home, like my daughter and her husband right now, you've got midnight feed, you've got, kids waking up and this
And
and that.
it's tiring.
Very tiring. So
Yes.
that support of being there, I used to have a friend because I didn't have relatives here on my side. We would swap. I'd take her kids for a weekend. She'd take my kids for a weekend where you could just go and be an adult for the weekend or
Oh,
sleep if
nice.
you wanted to,
Hmm.
but it's like if you haven't got, relations that can do it for you, then find friends that you can do it with. And
It's so important for parents to take a break, right?
yes,
To get
yes.
just to get out and be playful themselves out and about, right? Just going for ice cream or going to the park, whatever the simple activity might be. And
Yeah.
sometimes I have a friend who does not get out enough with her husband, and I offer to babysit. She doesn't take me up on it. I don't know why not, or else she just likes that. How am I trying to say? She's in a vicious mouse trap where it's just constantly spinning and spinning and spinning, just
It
too
doesn't
much
know how to
going on all
spin
the
out of
time.
it, right? Yeah.
Yes, like open
Yeah.
the door and get out for a little bit.
And
I
it's actually
try.
essential to your relationship because
Right.
if
You
you're
how
always
they
in mummy mode, you're never in wife mode. Where's the relationship with your husband? And your children need to see there's a relationship between mum and dad that's different
right,
to our relationship and that it's mum and dad's time and not
right.
demanding all the time. So it's really essential that you do have that time with your spouse or time for yourself.
I
Mum's going to
remember
have a bath. Don't knock on the door.
oh yeah, exactly. Do not disturb.
Yeah.
When I would offer to take some, I was always very spontaneous with my niece and nephews, and I might just step on my sister's house and say, "Oh, can I take them?" And take, "Oh my God, this is the best time ever."
Yeah.
So I would, or if I babysat, and I remember one funny story. I had the kids for like a day and a half, and I had plans to play tennis with a friend. My brother-in-law calls, he goes, "Jojo, do you think you could come back and get, the two kids?" I'm like, no. Right? He was out with some buddies the night before and had a few drinks,
Yeah.
whatever. I said, Russ, I can't. I'm going to play tennis, but I thought that was funny because why would I come back? I was just with them a day and a half, right?
Yes.
So I couldn't let you off the hook because you did a little bad behavior. You have to, accept your consequences. So,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
right.
It's a hangover. You're going to feel it when your
Yes,
kids around,
yes,
definitely.
yes. It was funny.
It's
So,
okay
but
to ask for help,
mhm.
right?
Oh
And
yeah,
go to play groups. If your kids aren't school age yet, go to play groups because those play groups, A, they have wonderful, play activities for the children, but you're going to meet other parents. And I,
right.
I go to this play group with my grandson when I'm there, and there is both mother and fathers there, depending what
Hmm.
shift or whatever it's on. And
And you
it's healthy.
connect.
It's
Hmm.
healthy for you to speak. You compare stories, but you just talk. Can we set up a play date? Our kids are getting on well,
Exactly.
but it
Yes.
it's good for you. And so, being a parent means you dismiss being a woman or a man, or a husband or a wife, and now you're just a parent. Yes, you go through the first few years when they're babies, and that's all you feel you are. And then you get
Mhm.
to a stage where, a little more breathing room now, right? But please
Independence.
ask for help. I'm actually moving closer to my kids so that I can be helpful there
Oh,
and
that's good.
and take them and give them some days, and which I do now. I just
Hmm.
go down there, but it's going to be easy when I move there. But that's the thing. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Or afraid to say, like, you know what, I'm struggling right now. I'm struggling. and I need some help because if you don't, you will eventually take it out on the kids
Oh, yeah.
because you'll be
Yes.
so exasperated you can't cope anymore and you will take it out on the kids. And then you will regret it and you will have guilt and that will follow you around. So go and ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of inner strength because you know what your limit is.
And you know what you need.
Yeah.
So, we did it myself and another, I want to say, colleague did a language yoga connection class last weekend.
Hmm.
And we had a storm before Saturday, the week before it. But we had a handful of people, but I always think to myself, they really enjoy it. The kids are doing the yoga. We did a Arctic animal lesson and what have you, made snowflakes out of pretzels and marshmallows. But it's just good time for the mom to just bond with
Yes.
their kids, right? And I know Saturday morning is tough because they're running all week. But I think once they get out the door, it's a breath of fresh air to do something different, right? And get them inspired, right? And get their kids inspired to do this work and what have you, and participate and
Yes.
engage.
Go
So,
to whatever community things are on, fairs or the market or, pumpkin patch or whatever the case is.
no, so
It's
much to
like,
talk about, so much to
yeah,
see. Yes.
yes, yeah. And then, then it's like, what did you see? What did you feel? Engage. Let that child share with what they're seeing and feeling. And you'll
What
know,
did you buy?
what
Yes,
did you buy? I want to go
yeah.
back and do that again. Or no, no,
Mm-hmm.
that made me feel a bit insecure. Okay, we'll wait a while until they're a bit older before we do that again. But this
Right.
is you tuning into your child and not dictating to your child of who and what they should be, but allowing your child to tell you how they feel, what they're comfortable with, and knowing when you can push a bit further and when you need to pull back.
Right. Right. And the what am I trying to say? The experiences outside of the house are going to allow you to do that, to figure things
Yes,
out. So,
yes. So of course your book or books, you've got it in is it also in audio? Because I know I'm seeing some videos here too. So you have it in audio as well?
yes. So I have it in the digital format. It's on iTunes and Google Play.
Hmm.
I don't have a copy of it behind me, but in any case, it's available there. It's a digital format. It's animated with audio spots and a lot of visualization and color and what have you. It's basically the book coming to life, the soft cover book. And then I
Hmm.
have the two soft cover books, the Talk Clean Read Me Mommy and Talk Clean Read Me Daddy. So they're both, should I go ahead and talk about where they're available?
Yes,
Or,
tell me where they're
okay.
available, how people can get hold of you, and also your free giveaway.
Oh, all right. So the books are available first on my website, talkplayandread.com. And then I also have a landing page where they're available, talkplayandreadbooks.com. Um, and then we were talking about my free gift would
Hmm.
be I have a free newsletter that people can sign up for at talkplayandreadbooks.com. And if they sign up for that newsletter, they get a free PDF version of the animated audiobook, ebook. And then also they would get a free little snapshot video of the ebook itself, also a colorful, animated,
Mm,
sound effects, etc.
wonderful.
So yes, so that's what I have to offer.
And of course, you're on Linktree as well under your name,
Yes,
Joanna Grimlich.
yes.
Can you just spell your name for people so they know how to?
Sure. Sure. As far as going to Linktree, I did write it down. I'll just spell it all out. Linktree is linktr.ee/JoAnn
And of course, a lot of links will be on there. Of
Yes,
course,
all my links, social media.
right, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, you're all there as well. And one of the things I would say to people, I mean, like a book is a gift that keeps on giving. You don't just read it once and put it down and never come back. A child will want it again and again and again. And every time the story kind of slightly changes as the comprehension goes. And yes, I know as a parent, like reading the same book for the 20th time, can be a little hard to get around sometimes, but that's okay because eventually they'll, I want another book. And then they'll come back to that book again because they haven't had it read for a while. Or you have a friend coming over, they have a friend coming over and you read the book and they suddenly, it has a different meaning to them all over again. But it's important that we do read to our children. It is important that we play with our children. And then it's also important that we give them time to just play with themselves. Go and play, Go and do something. And if we don't give them that time to do that, we're not letting them step into their own imagination. We're not letting them in their own discovery, but we're also teaching them that, okay, they have to be entertained all the time instead of entertaining themselves. So all of these things are extremely important with our children. And I'm so glad you've written these books because, yes, playtime, essential. First part of education, reading, ignition of their creativity and their possibilities of things that are possible, things that they can do,
So
right?
many things, cognition,
Yeah.
receptive expressive language skills, the
Mm,
physical,
yeah.
communication, so many
Yes.
different things that people probably aren't aware of, the simple
Yes.
skills that children acquire just simply playing.
Yeah.
So
And that's
is
so important because if they don't learn these skills, and it is the skills as they learn them as children, they take them into every area of their life. And then it becomes something that just transforms them into when they're an adult, that they've already got these skills here.
mhm,
But it's not learning when they get to school or learning when they get older. It's teaching them right from the word go. And
right. Starts as
conversation, the skill to talk, not dismissing them. Children should be seen and not heard. Balderdash. We should listen to our children. Very often they have a great deal more wisdom than we do. Listen to our children.
we learn a lot from them for
Oh,
sure. We
yeah.
learn a lot about
Yes.
ourselves, right? They bring out the
Yes.
best in us if we give them
Yeah.
the chance. They really do.
Yes.
So,
And then always going to get, it doesn't matter even if you have an exasperated moment, they're always going to make you smile. They're always going to make you
always,
laugh.
they're adorable faces. They're
Yeah.
only young ones, just
Yes. Enjoy every
fill
moment of
up,
them.
right? Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. There's something about, we were talking about this the other day where my son, who has a stepdaughter, and my son-in-law, where he was holding the baby, and this was during this RSV virus where everybody was sick, and he was saying about stress and anxiety, and my son was saying you have a different stress and anxiety because you're a parent and it's 24/7. And my son was in, because he has a stepdaughter, but it's part-time, and he has a restaurant, a different form of stress. And I think this is the joy of being a grandmother. I've been there as a parent. And that's something my daughter said to me, how did you do it with three, Mum? And I said, I don't remember. I just did. You don't remember the day-to-day stuff. You remember the moments, little things that come into your mind. But the day-to-day, you're just so busy doing and
Right.
providing that you can't remember the all those little things. But as a grandparent, I can sit back now because that responsibility isn't mine, and I can absorb them and digest them
Soak
in a
it in.
totally,
Yes,
soak it all
yes,
in a
yes,
totally different way. And it's like this will pass. The baby years will pass, and where, as they grow and they become more
best.
independent, and it will be wonderful. But when you're in the thick of it with no sleep and sickness and this and that, yeah, it feels overwhelming, but it does
Yes.
pass.
Yes, it does. I can see with these little preschoolers I'm working with right
Mm,
now. I notice, I'm like, wow, she's grown a lot. I don't usually observe that, but for
mm,
some reason, this particular, I'm like, wow, she's grown a lot. She's taller, her hair is longer,
mm.
everything's happening
Yeah,
so quickly,
yeah,
right? So, but yes, but the bottom line is talking with your children begins as early as birth, right?
yes.
And even before birth, we talked about in the womb.
Yes,
So,
yes, exactly.
so
And it's don't be afraid to be silly with your kids. Don't be afraid to be firm and show them your boundaries. Don't be afraid to and encourage them to play on their own, because the amount of creativity that they discover on their own is absolutely wonderful. And it also becomes an indication of what they're interested in, so you know how to entertain them. So pay attention, don't dictate, guide. We are
right.
custodians of our children. We're here as their guiders and nurturers. We don't own them, and we
Right.
should not be dictating what they do with their life. What we should be doing is paying attention to what their gift is and how to nurture them into that gift.
Right. Share their interests,
Yes,
ask those questions when you are playing with them. What do you think? What do you like? All kinds of things you can do to get them to talk about their interests. So,
it's not your life, it's their life.
right.
Remember,
And it might not come out to be the way you want it, but however.
and the
So,
bottom line is whether they end up, being the garbage picker upper or they end up being CEO of a Fortune 500, the bottom line is, are they truly happy? Because that's all you want for your children. Are they truly happy? Who cares what they do? Are they truly happy? Because that happiness is the greatest currency you can have.
Oh my God, this was so inspiring, this whole conversation. I'm happy. Sorry. This was good. So
Well, that's what it's about. If we're not happy, we're
true.
doing
It's
something
the
wrong,
truth,
right?
right? You
Exactly.
want your child to be authentic,
Yes,
transparent, and
yes,
just happy is the
yes.
word. Happy and fulfilled.
Yeah. I think we
So
just need to simplify things a lot more, don't we?
oh my gosh. Yes, blow some bubbles. That's
Yes.
it. Right? Get a slinky, get a yo-yo. It's simple little things, little
Yes.
toys,
Be
right?
goofy.
I
I
know.
talk with the kids, like I've done the right from birth and with my little baby grandson, I call it gobbledygook, all sorts of things, pulling faces, and he's looking
All
at
that
me,
stuff.
and it's like Nana doesn't isn't scared to be silly,
No, it's so
it's
fun,
fun
right?
and being
It really
silly.
is.
Yes,
It
yeah,
is. You can feel your whole disposition
yeah,
change, right?
yeah,
You can even if when I go into school, of course we all have our days, right? You
yes,
might have an issue with family, what have you. But as soon as I get to school and I'm with those
yes,
kids and they light up, I light up, right? It's a
yeah,
mirror effect. I'm not
yes,
gonna go in there like I'm in a bad mood. I don't feel like playing today. Or I
right.
don't feel like working today. I don't do that. I just they fill me up, and that's what it's all about. So be happy. This too shall pass, right? All our situations
Absolutely.
will pass. So,
Absolutely. That is the important thing is that they grow up so fast, enjoy every moment,
oh,
nurture, pave the way for them, give them the tools and the skills they need, give them the encouragement, but they've got to walk it. It's not your walk, it's their walk. Just give them everything they need in order to walk it well.
I totally agree. And they will. They will walk it.
So, and of
So,
course, both books are on Amazon as well, right?
yes, yes, Amazon.com. Yes.
So, this is a great gift to give to parents, both of them, right? Mama and dad, and because they're both going to see things from a different perspective, so you're giving them different views on things, then they can actually cross confer,
Right.
right?
Different
Have a conversation. Yeah,
perspectives.
exactly.
Right.
Right,
What do
and
you
better
see? What do you
understanding. Yeah,
see? Yes.
exactly. And the conversation can branch out, and then that whole perspective changes, and your interaction changes, and everything, becomes broader and wider and more comprehensive. And that's what it's meant to be about. So thank
And a lot of fun. Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of fun hands-on activities. People don't have to go out and buy,
yes,
grand toys, just
no,
basic objects throughout the house, what have you. So, a
right.
lot of good ideas.
Yes. And you'll see a particular toy that they're fixated on. As I said, for my grandson, it's cars. He loves cars and doing all sorts of things with cars. And I said,
Mhm.
okay, all right, that's the tool that he likes. Cars are the thing. Who knows what
Mhm.
he's going to do with cars later on, but it's the journey of watching what he does with cars, right?
Right.
And so it's what he's learning and what he's discovering. I love watching him just do his thing and little facial expressions as whatever's going on in his head, right?
Yep.
It's wonderful to see.
Yes, definitely. If you take the time, right, you just got to take the time to get down at their level and do their thing
Yes,
with them. So,
yes. No dictation, folks, just allowing, guiding, knowing when to restrain the boundaries, but allow your children to be who they are, please, please. They are your
really
gift,
great.
and you'll see it when if you just tap into the wonders who they are rather than, oh, they've got to be. No.
Because they probably won't be that.
No, then you're
You can't force
retaliation.
things.
Yes.
Yes, it's a whole nother topic.
Exactly.
So,
We want to
so
avoid that one. So,
yes,
yeah, get behind them now, right? And let them explore. And I think there's something that's missing in adults. We've forgotten how to explore. We've forgotten how to be wondrous. We've forgotten how to just allow life to happen to us because we're following somebody else's agenda that isn't working, right? Just
right.
drop that
I
agenda and tap in.
last week we had our snowstorm. And I'm going outside and making a snow angel. I don't care. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
So I went out and made three of them. I sent it to a few friends, like, wow. I said, yes, I had to tap into my childlike
Yeah.
nature. And then I did it again the next day because it felt great. The fresh air. It was
Yeah.
fun. I haven't done that in a long time. So that's what it's all about, right? Even as
Yes.
adults.
Yes.
Just to take a few moments.
Oh, for God's sake, please have fun. Life is
Yes.
down enough. I did, ugh. No, have fun. Have fun.
Yes.
Learn to laugh. And
I'm hoping we have some more snow because I want to do it again. It's kind of melting now. Ugh,
well,
kind of mushy,
I'm glad
yucky.
it's melting because the amount of driving I have to do. So yes,
Oh,
but
yes.
I just wish the roads were allergic to it. That's all.
That's true. I know I don't like driving. We had off. We had the whole week off, so that's why I didn't have to worry about that. So,
Right.
but
That's
no,
nice.
I understand. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And it's fun to
All
see the
right.
kids in the snow too, because
Oh
they,
yeah,
oh yeah, it's a
they
totally different
love
world for them.
it.
They love it.
Love
Absolutely.
it. So yeah.
So there's so many activities and so many things. Take them for a walk in the woods, take them for a walk in the park, take them for a walk somewhere that not just the playground and home, but like investigate along the way all the wondrous things out there. There's so much we can be with our kids if we just explore with them, right? So,
Time. Yeah.
so please, folks, go and buy the books. Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Mummy, or Talk, Play, and Read with Me, Daddy. It's on Amazon. JoAnn Grimlich. That's Gramlich. And
Actually, Gramlich.
what did I say? Something else.
I think you said
Sorry.
J, but that's okay.
Okay, yep, that's my dyslexia
Don't
too.
worry about it.
G.
Yes,
And
there it is.
but even putting the title in Amazon, it will come up. They make great gifts for expectant parents, for parents of young children, grandparents to give their children. These books are never ever a bad idea, and they are gifts that keep on giving. So give these books, start the conversation, and please, folks, talk with each other, share, because that's how we actually gain knowledge and know what to do and don't feel isolated and alone and do the wrong thing. So please converse. Thank you so much for sharing with us here today, love. It's been a
Thank you,
delight.
Sarah. Oh my gosh, this was so fun. I feel honored by you, but I feel really happy.
Anything around kids,
This
I'm
was a
always
great
happy. Anything we can
conversation.
do with it. Yeah, but yeah,
Yes.
they are our future. They are our future. If we don't take care of them now, we're into a dysfunctional society later. All right, we've already seen evidence of that. It's very evident out there. So let's nurture our kids into being all that they're meant to be and let them be the beautiful divine leaders that they're meant to be in the future because they had the support when they were young. Let's help them along their way. So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.